What's up, guys? This week we received Mason Black on the podcast. Mason plays for the San Francisco Giants. He made his major league debut last year. He went to Lehigh University. We talked about his transition from being a catcher most of his life to becoming a pitcher, mostly in college, and then into getting drafted in 2021 in the third round. His career in the minor leagues, and then the transition to the major leagues last year. Mason just left for spring training yesterday, so we were lucky to catch him right before his departure, and I'm looking forward to you guys listening to some of the things we talked about. Enjoy. All right, it's running. Mason, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be on.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for accepting the invite. How are you feeling about your offseason so far?
Feeling good. I honestly can't believe it's come to an end here. I'll be leaving for Arizona tomorrow, so it was a bit bittersweet with it ending right now, but feel like I got a lot done. Much thanks to you guys and everyone out there at Ascent. So in a good
Yeah.
spot heading towards the season.
Yeah. How about you uh, run me through like some of the we're going to get back on the offseason and things you worked on, but I want to get a little bit better understanding of like your career, your history as a baseball player, like before you were Mason Black that plays for the Giants.
Okay, yeah. So I grew up near Scranton, Pennsylvania. I went to high school in Valley View, and I played with a former big leaguer, or actually current big leaguer, Max Kranick there. So he's the one who kind of pushed me towards pitching, as well as a couple coaches and my strength coach up there. And then got recruited by Lehigh University, committed there, went there, and that's when the dream of like actually being able to play professional baseball really hit. Had a good summer up on the Cape Cod League, and that's where things kind of started pushing me towards like, hey, you could do this like for a living, and I thought that was pretty sweet. Obviously, being at Lehigh helped a ton, just having the opportunity to go out there and play, and can't say enough good things about that experience.
Hmm. Nice. Yeah, that was like one of my questions I wanted to ask you because you don't come off as a guy like the super arrogant. You're very down to earth, very nice, and like you don't seem like you like it was sure for you your whole life that you were going to play in the big leagues. I was going to ask like, is it always been your number one plan, or you kind of just answered that like as you went through the steps, you were like, okay, this can actually happen, but it wasn't like you were 8 and you were like, I want to play in the big leagues. I mean, maybe it was, but you didn't really believe it.
Yeah, I mean, I think every kid in Little League growing up is like, I want to play in the big leagues. Like, this is the coolest thing in the world. I mean, I grew up watching, Phillies baseball, Pirates baseball with my dad. So
Hmm.
that was always the dream. But not until like kind of realizing like, hey, I could do this. And I saw how I stacked up against like the elites of college baseball that I could really say that it became a reality.
Yeah. How was your college experience at Lehigh? How was your development? What are the things that kind of unlocked uh, some stuff that allowed you to become the pitcher you are today?
I mentioned a little bit before, but I think the opportunity to go in and compete right away really helped me. I hadn't been pitching for a while. I was a catcher pretty much all throughout high school and flipped to pitching like my junior year full time. So I think that being able to go and kind of fall on my face a little bit at Lehigh and learn how to pitch and have some good upperclassmen and guys to kind of steer you the right way helped a lot. And obviously the staff there at Lehigh helped a ton. Like we had Sean Buchanan, he's now with the Astros in their minor league system as a pitching coach, and Coach Leary, Coach Bisco, all of that staff there really helped me, grow as a pitcher.
Nice, nice. All right. Well, now let's talk a little bit more about your professional experience. So you got drafted in the third round in 2021. Run me through like that experience. So you said you hadn't been pitching for ever, right? So you pitched 3 years in college, and then you're a professional pitcher. So how is that transition being made? What are the things that struck you as like, okay, this is a different game? Things like that.
I think a big thing that I noticed as soon as I got into pro ball was that guys want to hit, they want to swing, And that's kind of I wouldn't say it was completely different, but like sometimes in college, like guys will try to work a walk or, try to lean into one and take a hit by pitch. But in pro ball, guys wanted to swing, and it's all about figuring out what they want to swing at and kind of appetizing them into, biting a slider off the plate or something like that.
Hmm.
As well as just like having all the resources, like all the analytics and everything to find out why these pitches performed the way they did
Hmm.
was very helpful, because I'm kind of a nerd. I like diving into a lot of that stuff. So just seeing all the data and the analytics and like, oh, why is this pitch good? Why does it work? Like that stuff really helped me really take off and progress in development.
Nice, nice. And how did like the volume, the more traveling and stuff like that impact you? Did you respond well to that? Was there like a period of adaptation in the beginning where you weren't so comfortable? You felt like you were a little overwhelmed by everything that was going on. How did that happen?
I would say the travel was a bit different, a bit heavy, but I was into the minor leagues in the system where it was like you travel for a week and you're at a specific location for that week. So I feel like the travel really got a lot better when I was in the minor leagues as opposed to guys in the past, where it's like, oh, you're going to be in Visalia for a week and like you'll have your one outing as a starting pitcher. So I'd pretty much just have one outing a week unless I was doubling down. So the travel really was easier, but it's still like a bit of an adjustment. I would say that a big help was just having a lot of like pitchers in my draft class that were in low A ball with me and were in high A ball. Like we became really close, and just like having that support staff and that group that like you're going through with was really like it was a great thing.
Okay, nice, nice. That's awesome. And how did you like California brought you spring training in Arizona? Where'd you play low A ball? Where's that located? Low A and
We're
high
in
A.
San Jose, and then high A was in Eugene,
Okay.
Oregon.
Okay, nice. And how'd you like that? The West Coast.
Yeah, West Coast is a bit different. I've never been out there. I haven't been west of Wyoming until like that experience. But yeah, I loved it. I love like the outdoors and nature. So I liked Eugene a ton. Just being able to see like the hiking spots, and you traveled through a lot of like remote land up there. So I thought that was really cool. And we got to
Nice.
go up to your motherland up in Vancouver. So
Yeah.
that was fun. Always a good trip up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't even been to BC and the West Coast in Canada either.
Oh wow.
So I have a cousin that lives over there. I'm gonna have to go visit him soon.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. Where do you live now? Where do you stay? Do you like? Do
Uh,
you have a spot right now?
Yeah, I'm actually transitioning in between leases right now. So I'm at my girlfriend's.
Okay.
We're in Philly, just like right outside Fishtown area. So I love it. I've been here for 2 off seasons and can't say enough good things about the area.
Nice. And do you have a place set up when you go back
Oh
for work?
yeah, in Arizona there. Got a spot with one of my roommate or one of my good friends.
Nice.
So we'll be living together right in Scottsdale.
Nice, nice. And you like the? I haven't been to Arizona. I keep hearing good things about it though. Do you like it? This area?
Yeah, I love it. Everyone always says like, "Oh, you're going to Arizona spring training, like you're lucky," and a lot of that is because of the weather. But also the travel is nice for spring training. Like tops, you're going to travel 40 minutes as opposed to the Florida League where you're bouncing 2 hours to a game. So
Yeah.
it's nice. I like the hiking too. Got some
Yeah.
great hikes out there,
Nice.
and I know it's going to be a nice adjustment going from 30 degrees every single day to 50s, 60s. I'll take that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Let's talk a little bit about your big league debut last year and how that jump was made. How did that kind of all happen? Was there like a cool story? The call or whatever. Like how did that happen?
The I wouldn't say it was too cool of a story from like the call perspective. Our manager called me. It was a rainy day in Sacramento, and I think we were playing. It was Saturday, and we had a night game that day. But like everyone was like, I don't know if we're gonna play. Like we usually don't get rain out in Sac, so it was a little different. And I got a call at about 11, and it was our manager, and he's just like, yeah, you better pick up the phone, like you're going to the big leagues. So I was like, oh sweet, this is awesome. And I looked at the schedule, and they were in Philly, which was just full circle moment, which
Yeah.
was really cool. And So I hopped on a plane, flew into Philly that evening at like, I think I got in at like 1 a.m.
Hmm.
and got taken to the hotel and was able to wake up the next Sunday. And my girlfriend was running the Broad Street run here in Philly. So I got up, got to see her do that. We hung out for a little bit after that, just grabbed some lunch, and then I had to go to the ballpark.
Nice, nice. And how was your first outing?
A little rocky at the
A
end
little
there.
rocky.
Yeah, I had a good couple innings, but that third time through the order really got me and really forced me to learn like, hey, you gotta have another pitch. You gotta
Yeah,
execute a little bit better as you get tired.
yeah,
And big awakening moment there.
yeah. Would you say that's the biggest separator between the minors and the big leagues? The like how fast guys make adjustments.
Yeah, I would say absolutely.
Yeah,
The adjustments are made like you could see in the dugout. Guys are talking like 24/7,
yeah.
and it's a cat and mouse game in the big leagues than it is in the minors. Like guys kind of swing away a little bit. Some like a lot of younger guys in the minor leagues don't have a plan.
Hmm.
For the most part, like they're going up there trying to get their pitch, which is part of their player plan, but it might not be what is actually being attacked by the pitcher.
Hmm. And like, yeah, I think it's interesting that you bring that up because also, like, I don't think people like most people that aren't familiar with professional baseball understand the level of like professional baseball players, like how good they actually are, and in you mentioning how guys that are in the minors that are extremely talented, that are very very good, that would like crush pretty much anyone, um, are behind big league players that uh, have so much uh, better of an ability to make adjustments faster and kind of solve problems faster. So like it's really impressive that even at this high level, there's such a step in between
Yeah.
minor leagues and big leagues. Yeah. So you've been talk to me a little bit about what's special to you when it comes to like preparation. Do you have anything, routines, things like that that you do? It can be nutrition, it can be anything.
I would say that I try to keep my routine is ever evolving. I would say
Okay.
where I have like my body prep and I know what I need to do for a given day to just feel right. And that just starts in the weight room, like just getting in there, making sure I get my hamstrings warmed up, everything. I love my hinging and everything to really feel primed and ready to go out there and compete on the mound. And
Mhm.
a lot of that is just like a little thing here or there that I've picked up from a strength coach in the past, or like something that I've been feeling recently that I need to adjust to. So a lot of it is just like routine and finding what works on a daily basis and kind of being mindful of like, hey, today I'm feeling good up here, but I need to work a little bit more on the ankles or something. Like just trying to like listen to my body every single day
Yeah.
and really put that into practice.
Nice. Would you say that's something that's kind of evolved as you went through the different steps of your baseball career? Like, did you kind of start with a more predetermined, like, hey, we're gonna do this is my routine, and then kind of evolve into I don't like I only really need to spend time on things that actually matter, and kind of be more aware.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like you always go through like in college ball or high school, we'd have like our team stretch, and it's like, okay, that's great. Like, but I need this too, or I don't need really
Or I
this
don't need it
much,
at
or
all.
yeah, exactly. So just trying to find what works for me on a day to day basis, and it's been good because I've been lucky to have a lot of strength coaches and
Mhm.
pitching coaches that really push me towards certain things and away from other things, and feel like I'm in a good spot now. I guess 4 years into to professional baseball, where it's like I know what I need to do. Like I can get this done, but I'm always willing to listen to other opinions and hear like, hey, if you try this, like it might work, and always just trying new stuff.
Yeah, I think that's something that I've noticed about you that I appreciate, and that's probably served you very well. Is that you're always very open to listen to what people have to say, regardless of how much you know or how much you've experienced and different things. So that's great, and I think keeping that mindset's gonna always bring back some positive results for you.
Thank you.
And maybe we find something that works, and then that's cool. That's great. So
Yeah.
do you also like to have that freedom? Like, you mentioned, in college it's kind of more structured, and it's like everybody does this, and it's kind of cookie cutter ish at times. Um, Maybe Lehigh was a little better than where I went, but like, do you like to have that freedom of being by yourself? Kind of, you can listen to everybody, but at the end of the day, in pro ball, you kind of decide with who you work with. At least for the most of the off season and in season, I'm sure guys are not like pushing their programs on you
Yeah.
at the level you're at.
Yeah, I appreciate the freedom, and I just see it as a really good thing. Like people always say, it's your career. Like you got to do what you feel is best for it. So I've always tried to take that approach. Is like it's my career. Like I can hear out anyone and everyone that has an opinion and wants to input that. And sometimes I could get overloaded by that stuff, which
Hmm.
something I'm trying to be a little bit better at.
Yeah.
But just being able to have the freedom to try what I want and like try different things out here and there. And the Giants have been great with kind of pushing me certain ways and saying like, hey, this might work for you. And I found that more often than not, it is the right call. So lucky to have a good player development staff with us.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Like, definitely helps if you have great people that want the best
Yeah.
for you around, and you're not just pushed and they're trying to get you to do their stuff for their own interest. But yeah, man. How about you talk a little bit about your kick change? When was that developed, and how did that happen?
I don't know. I'm trying to keep it a secret right now.
Oh,
Yeah, a secret weapon for upcoming season. But no, it
there
was
shouldn't be too many views on that. I don't think.
no, I'm messing with you. But yeah, it was something one of my teammates, actually Hayden Birdsong, was throwing it towards the end of the season, and it's something he tried in the middle of spring training,
Yeah.
and he just immediately took off with it. And throughout the whole season, I was messing around like, oh, maybe a split change, maybe this kind of change. Like I would have like very small little bursts of success, and I would see like, oh, this change is working, and then I would go away for like a week, and then I wouldn't throw any of them for like 2 outings.
Hmm.
So it was a lot of the input from our coaching staff was like, hey, you need to have that third pitch or that fourth pitch or whatever it might have been to really like take off. And so as soon as I got back to Ascent this winter, I said, you know what, I'm going to try a kick change. Like day one of throwing, I'm like, I'm going to mess around with this and just see, because I hadn't had success with any other grips.
Hmm.
And was just like trial and error type deal where it's like, oh, like if I orient it this way, like I get a little bit more depth on it. And like sometimes in catch play, like I know I hit Tim Brennan, one of our other pitchers out of Ascent, in the ankle with it because I just cut a changeup, kind of turned into a slider there. But throughout all of the trial and error, I found a grip that works for me and orients the seams correctly. And that was something that I was really happy with and excited to find.
Yeah. And you still haven't thrown to hitters though.
No live sessions yet. It's still a little early in the off season,
Yeah.
but I'll have some hitters sitting in there and standing in and just seeing like, hey, what does this look like?
Yeah. I think it'll play.
I hope so. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the goal.
Yeah. For sure. How about you talk about other things, man? You're a very interesting, very nice guy that looks open-minded, loves to nature and stuff like that. What do you do when you're not on the field?
Not on the field. In season, I do a lot of reading. I like getting into the books a little bit. And then out of season, I think a big thing is like my girlfriend will take me, like we'll go out and we'll have walks and stuff like just around Philly. I think it's a good time to just explore and see. And also a big hunter, love hunting.
Nice.
So had a little trip this past off season with my dad and brother and a couple of my dad's friends, and just love being around all the old guys up at our hunting camp up in Northeast Pennsylvania, and
Nice.
just hanging out, kicking it. Yeah, love
Nice.
that's ties right into the loving of nature. Like love
Yeah.
just sitting out there. There's nothing better than just sitting in the woods and might
Yeah.
not even see anything, but you're just there by yourself with your thoughts. It's liberating.
Yeah. Was it a successful hunt this fall?
Not for me. I'm
Yeah.
I'm very selective. I'm a conservationist. I go out there and I'm not going to shoot anything unless it's a trophy. And
It's the buck of a lifetime.
yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go out there and just shoot a 6-pointer just to say I shot something.
Yeah.
So my brother got a buck, and that was exciting because it was his first year since he was probably 12 years old. So
Yeah.
like that was special to just see him go through that whole process of like, hey, we gotta harvest this animal. I'm gonna eat it regardless of if he wants to or not.
Yeah.
So successful trip from a fun perspective, but I didn't get anything. But what are you gonna do? That's why it's called hunting.
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely something that I miss, man. Like, you're gonna have to explain to me how it works around here, or someone's gonna have to, because I was trying to like get a license or something, because I have my license and stuff from Canada, but I don't know how it works to like get my permit here or my tags to like, or even how to, if I can use guns out here. Like, it would be my gun. So like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to figure that out. But I see so many deer around here. I'm always like looking at my
Oh
car
yeah.
every time I'm driving.
Get the heart racing a little
Dude, I
bit.
saw like a giant buck like 2 days ago. I just turned around. It's crazy how many deer, like, because I hunt too, and I'm from Canada, and people think there's a lot of animals up there, and that the winter is so harsh. Like, we have a lot of moose, but we don't see them that much. Like, the population's not big to the point like you see them all the
Yeah.
time. And deer, like, we have some deer, we have some very big deer too, but like the winters are so harsh, like they're so tough that like there are deers, but like not that many.
Yeah.
So like that you see them everywhere. And here, every time, like when I have a cabin and I'm like always in the woods back home, and I look always for them because I've been hunting my whole life too. And then you say like, oh, this would be a good spot for a deer. Like, oh, my dad always taught me like, oh, this would be a good spot and all that. And
Yeah.
here when I'm driving to like Ascent, I'm like, oh, this would be a good spot for a deer. And
Right on the side of 95.
yeah, but
Yeah.
like almost every time I do, like my brain goes, oh, this would be a good spot to see a deer. I see one. It's like magic. I'm like, bro. So like the other day I'm driving and I'm like, I feel like right there in that like little corner behind that house, there'd be a deer. And I just drive, turn around, monster buck. I'm
You're
like, whoa.
manifesting it.
Dude, I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God. So yeah, definitely gonna have to figure out how I can hunt around
We'll
here.
get you set up. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
A lot of good hunting around this area.
Yeah,
I
for
know
sure.
that. So definitely gonna have to set you
For
up there.
sure. Have you ever hunted moose before?
No, I would love to though. That sounds like the hunt of a lifetime. Head up to
Yeah,
Canada.
man. Yeah, we gotta go
Yeah,
up. We gotta go up to Canada together, man.
that'd be
We gotta do
awesome.
some. Yeah, next off season.
All
Go up
right,
to
I'm down.
go up to Canada. Yeah, shoot a moose. That would be pretty. I mean, I haven't had the chance to even do it because like uh, for us the hunting season's a little shorter, and because of
Mhm.
college ball and like football and basketball and high school and stuff, like my fall is always full of sports and everything. So
Yeah.
like I don't remember the last time I actually like, it was probably when I was like 16 for like a 2-day deer trip that I went to hunting. So like now I kind of have the, I mean, I'll have to
You
take
got
off
the
from Ascent.
itch.
I have to take off from Ascent, but like if that's the only thing stopping me, like I'll be all right.
Yeah, I think you'd be all right there. I think they'd let you. They'd
Yeah,
understand.
yeah, for sure. For the hunt of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, bro. What else, man? Yeah, what do I want to talk about? I feel
I
like
don't know what you feeling.
I don't know. I don't know. Do you have anything you want to talk about? I feel like you're keeping some stuff in. Oh yeah, it's
Uh,
just about the reading. What kind of readings do you do? Like you said, you read a lot.
oh
That's
yeah.
that's
Okay.
an interesting topic to dive in because I love reading too.
Reading's good. It's good for the brain. I think it's kind of an escape in season,
Hmm.
just because like you could easily get like go 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 like baseball baseball baseball, but in all reality like that is my job and it's something that you do need a distraction away from. So I found myself reading a lot of Cormac McCarthy, American novelist. Just he passed away actually. I think it was a year and a half ago, but he left back some great books and like No Country for Old Men. I don't know if you've seen that film adaptation. It's my favorite movie, but it's got some great books out there, and that's something I really dove into. And then this upcoming year, I have a Lord of the Rings, like the 3 pack of books. So I'm going to hop into reading that. I haven't even seen the movies like fully, so I'm excited to see what the movies are like after reading the books.
Hmm.
And just did the whole like Harry Potter audiobook thing
Nice.
where like it started after our season. My girlfriend and I drove back from California all the way back to PA.
Uh-huh.
So we had a lot of time in the car together and just started going through the Harry Potter audiobooks and it was like perfect where it's like I finished like 3 books on the way back and then every single day driving to Ascent it was like 25-30 minutes for me and that's just perfect time to fit a chapter in. So I was just like going through like a day, every single day I was getting through to like 2 chapters, and I'd be at home like cooking up, and I'd just like put on the audiobook and going through it. So not I wasn't a big audiobook fan until then because I don't think it's like real reading. But
Yeah.
after going through and hearing Jim Dale read these books, it's just like, yeah, that's what I needed today.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's definitely. I did a couple audiobooks because I couldn't find some books that were in French in the States when I was in college. But
Oh,
it's
okay.
interesting. It's interesting for sure. But I didn't know you were like you're such a stories. You're a big like stories guy. Like you love the like the hero stories, the Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and things like that.
Yeah, I like fiction. I think it's a good way to get out of like your head and out of the normal world. Is just like read something completely made up, and you know, I love McCarthy because of the dialogue that's in there.
Okay.
I'm a big dialogue fan. Love Tarantino movies. So being able to like just read into these books and reread them 3 times and pick up something new every single time, it's sweet.
Yeah. Do you relate that back to your life though? Like even though it's completely made up and these stories are fiction, like do you pick up parts? Do you notice certain traits from certain characters that you're like, oh, this is cool, or like how do you like do you apply that in some way, shape, or form to your life? Or like, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but
No, that does. Yeah, I would say like No Country for Old Men. Like I don't relate with like Anton Chigurh or anything. Like going out there and just killing people for the sense of it. But there are
good,
like
good.
there's a lot of yeah. No, I'm not into that. Not for me. But there's a lot of I would say like McCarthy writes in a lot of like family themed things, like brothers. Like I have a younger brother, and we're really close. So like just like going through the book and seeing how he portrays like families and brothers, and the way that they kind of like work together, cooperate, and all of that stuff. I relate to that just as an older brother. Um, I really like appreciate like his style of writing for that. And I think that might be another reason why I'm really drawn to him is just like the portrayal of the family and like the simplistic yet very complicated way in which things can go askew.
Nice. Yeah, that's definitely very interesting. I meant to ask because you're into reading. Have you ever dove into like some more psychological uh, and mindset stuff in order to uh, get that to help you on the field or something like that?
Yeah, I would say more so in college than now. I was reading into like Extreme Ownership by Jocko was a big one that I've read and reread a couple times just because it's like I was kind of put into a leadership role at Lehigh on the baseball team there and wanted to learn everything I could about trying to become a better one.
Hmm. That's good. And how did that affect? Like, how'd you? Did you feel like you did a good job first? And like, is that a role that you feel comfortable with now?
I feel more comfortable in it now, but I think it's still an ever evolving thing. Like you can
Yeah,
have a great day, you could have a bad day. I'd like to think I did an okay job, but I definitely have some things where I wish I went back and did differently. But I think that's with everything. Like you're always going to have
yeah,
regrets, and just need to kind of learn from those regrets and those mistakes.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like maybe regrets is a little bit harsh. Maybe that's how you feel, but
Yeah,
yeah, I think you're definitely gonna learn from the things you didn't do as well as you wish you could have now. But it's
yeah.
definitely a yeah learning experience, like you said, and always getting better. So you said you like detach yourself. You seem so like laid back. Like it doesn't seem like it seems like you're able to flip the switch from like the games to like the downtimes very well. Am I wrong?
Not always,
Not
not
always.
always. Yeah, still get those sleepless nights after bad outings or even
Really?
good outings. Like it's something I'm still working on,
Okay.
and my family and girlfriend would tell you like not the best at it,
Oh,
just
really?
because I get a very obsessive personality where like if I see something or do something poorly, it's like that's the only thing I could focus on for that upcoming like couple days. So it's always going to be a struggle, I think, for me, just being like hyper analytical
Yeah.
and trying to find that balance between like, hey, this is your job and this is your life. Like they're two separate things.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the biggest challenges is just like with trying to separate your job from your life. Like I get moved around because of my job.
Yeah.
Like I'll be going to Arizona tomorrow just to like work for the upcoming season. Like it is a little hard at times to separate the two of them, but
Yeah.
it's like that's why I need those escapes to just get away from it and have those like great relationships off the field to
Yeah.
have someone to go back to and just talk with.
Yeah. Definitely. And separate that. I definitely understand that. And like, also, I feel like baseball is so much harder than any other sport to separate it because it's literally every single day. As soon as it
Great
kicks in.
metaphor for life too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Like
like,
you get kicked down every single day in
yeah.
life, and
Yeah.
same thing happens on the baseball field.
Yeah. But like, I feel like, like at least for a pitcher, you don't pitch every day. So I feel like uh, you're not going to be so analytical on days you haven't pitched. Maybe not, at least not as much as the day of, but like, still it's you're always in it. Like there's like you said, it's very hard. I can understand how it's so hard to separate it from your actual life because like it's you spent literally your whole time at the field
Yeah,
on a day, or traveling to the field, or getting ready to go to the field on
yeah,
a day that you're playing in season. So this is definitely something pretty crazy and pretty hard to navigate. um like this is one thing that I admire from professional baseball players, and obviously major leaguers even more, is their ability to you guys' ability to show up to the field every day, like kind of looking the same, like looking prepared, like even in practice, even at Ascent, when you guys come in, like it's very rare that you're gonna, like, you look the same every day, you look ready to work every day. It's not like you're letting your emotions off the baseball field or off the facility kind of affect you into how you're going to work on that day. Like that's something that I notice a lot. Like that's maybe you have noticed it too, but like compared to like high school guys, they have the most like variation on how they're going to
yeah,
be coming into a day, and then college guys are a little better. The best ones are going to be up there with maybe some of the lower end minor leaguers, and then the rest of them is kind of like varies.
yeah.
Like I was
Peaks and
definitely one of
valleys.
yeah, I was definitely one of these guys where like, man, I'm so like hyper and everything. It was just like showing up every day to work. Like when I get going, it's fine, but not letting anything affect me was really really hard. And you guys are just able to, even though you said something you have to work on, you're still doing it at an extremely high level, and
Thank you.
you're still able to show up every day. Like it, whatever happens in your life, you can tell ever. However you feel, you can never tell, and it's like this is amazing. Like you guys really do this at the highest level every single day with the highest expectations and weight on your shoulders, and you're still able to put that away and just like, all right, let's get to work. And like you're still having fun with it, you're still taking it with a grain of salt, like and I think that's the only way you can get through it too. Like guys who put like ultimate pressure, like obviously you put a lot of pressure on yourself, but if you're so hard that you can't come back the next day fresh and ready to work, you're gonna eventually kind of go down that death circle and
Yeah, and just burn out.
yeah, kind of implode.
Yeah, I think having just like the discipline kind of instilled in me by like my parents and a lot of people I was close with back home. Just being able to show up every day is like the hardest part. And when you show up and you're able to or look at it as an opportunity to get better instead of just having like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Like it's more meaningful than just like getting ready for like baseball season. Like I value physical fitness. Like you go in the gym and you just want to get big. Like lifting's going to help you in the long term, regardless of if it's in a life in baseball or if it's just like general health going
Hmm.
down like later on when I'm like 50. I'm like, dang, I'm glad I deadlifted all that weight when I was younger. Like my back feels great.
Yeah, Yeah, for sure. Like I think that's a point that you're bringing up that's like so important that like I think that the guys who make it the furthest are either the ones that are able to be overly like obsessive about everything but not let it consume them. Like they're literally in it all the time, or guys who are able to find a great balance, like you're kind of doing, like understanding that it's not all about baseball all the time. Like it's
Yeah.
just like it is, but like you're gonna lift for the sake of lifting, and then if you're able to enjoy that, then that might just help you be more refreshed and just like, oh yeah, I lifted today because that's important for health over just like, oh, I lifted because I want to load better in my back hip in order to rotate fat. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's so easy to go down that path of like overly obsessing over every single thing you do. But then when you're able to take it with a little grain of salt of like, it's all right, man, like whatever variation of single leg deadlift I do today, like whether it's a kettlebell or a barbell, doesn't really matter. Like in the
Yeah.
grand scheme of things, I'm going to do the one I want to do, and that's whatever. And then you're going to show up after that. And when you don't let those little things affect you, I think you can make the most out of the rest of your training, the rest of the time you spend working on your craft. Um, so that's definitely something that I was struggling with a lot, and it led to a lot of injuries as well.
Hmm.
Just kind of always being stuck in like, how is that affecting me in my
Yeah.
performance? When like, bro, like the way I was picking up my backpack at school, I was being self conscious because I was like, is that hurting my elbow? Like, you know what
It's
I'm saying?
definitely a rabbit hole you can go right
Yeah,
down. So
yeah,
it's a lot of it is like listening to your body. Like there's some days I get to the gym and it's like I don't feel very good. Like I'm not like maybe I'll just take, this set and go a little bit more, go slower with it and like maybe modify it a little bit to say like okay I'm just gonna do a bottoms up kettlebell here like feel like I'm moving in the right way instead of like loading up with like 100-pound dumbbells and just saying I'm gonna go like regardless I have to do this. It's like that's something I've learned in pro ball is like you got to listen to your body because you're not going to feel great every single day.
yeah, exactly. And especially because you play so much, and like your goal is very different. It's a lot more like, I feel like not survival might be a little intense, but it's almost like that, like where you live to see another day, more than you live to get better right now. It's more like, all right, let's make sure I can make it to my next start feeling good, and then my
Yeah,
next start, and it's always kind of aiming at the next start as opposed to like the high school or college guy who's throwing 87, and then it's like, okay, well I need to get to 95.
yeah,
I got to lift better and everything. Like the focus definitely changes when you get to that level of like, okay, now you're good enough to be here. It's like your job is not to kill it in the weight room, is to be
yeah.
ready for the next game. So like it's definitely a shift that you have to make. Otherwise, you're just gonna kill yourself. Like you're just not gonna be ready.
And that's something that really when I was in double A, like I was getting burned out pretty easily. Like in the early part of the season, like force plate numbers and everything were good, but it's like why am I not throwing hard? And one of my strength coaches, Matt Jordan, sat me down. He's like, hey, like you are doing way too much in here and you're not feeling good for that fifth day or sixth day of throwing. Like, let's modify the in between start stuff so that you go out there and you're at your peak when you're on the mound.
Yeah,
And that's something I needed to hear at that time. And I'm glad I did because it made me realize like you can't be going 100%. You can't devote 100% of your day towards everything.
yeah,
You have to break it up into like, oh, I'm gonna go like 20% lifting here, 80% pitching, and I was doing it all backwards there for a little bit.
yeah, yeah. You got to remember what your goal is. Like no matter how important lifting is and whatever you want, whatever you think it does for you, like it's a skill in and of itself. It's another activity. It's not baseball. Like yeah, it might
Yeah,
translate. Obviously, that's what we kind of want, but the thing that's going to get you better at throwing a baseball is probably throwing a baseball. So like,
yeah,
I wish more people would understand that. But I wish myself would have understood that way earlier. But yeah, it's definitely what you should dedicate most of your time to, especially when you're at that level. Like I said, of like you're not trying to get better so much as you're trying to just get ready for the next uh, game.
yeah. It's all about fine tuning. Like everyone has the physical abilities to be able to do it like on any given day. It's just trying to find that consistency day to day of like, can I go out there and, give us 6 innings and, one or two, like one run,
Mhm.
as opposed to having those like the big swings. And that's something I do too. Like I'll go out there and blow up for a game, have like give up 5 runs over 3 innings. And it's like, well, I'm back to where I began. Like I need to find that consistency
Yeah,
every single day.
yeah, for sure. Do you have like a mantra, like a mantra, like something you live or die by, like a word you'll repeat yourself when shit hits the fan a little bit or things get a little out of control?
I don't personally. I just find like my physical cues are the biggest things. Like trying to control my breathing a little bit has been something that I've talked about with a couple of our mental skills coaches in the past.
Hmm.
Is just trying to find that like that breath to really like slow you down and get you in the right mindset to focus instead of letting the game speed up on you. And I need to be better at that, but something I'm always working on.
Nice, nice. And yeah, do you have anything else you want to mention for the season before you go off to Arizona and we get to work one more time at Ascent today?
I know, yeah. Last bullpen of the off season here at Ascent. Just excited to get back to it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Well, thank you so much, man, for being on the pod. I'm gonna let you get ready to go throw that bullpen. I gotta get ready to go soon too. But I really appreciate your time. I hope some of the youngsters or just guys that are aspire to be where you are watch this and get something that can help them out of that and that you can kind of guide. Some of the things you mentioned can kind of guide them into a better direction than where they're going.
yeah,
Hopefully learn from that. So yeah, and we got to set up that hunting trip when you come back from the city.
yeah. We do.
Yes, sir.
Let's
All
go.
right.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you
thanks,
for having me
Mason.
on.
Yes, sir.
I'll see you soon.
See you later, man.